Hey, let's get this show on the road, huh? It's just a little after 12, 12:01. Thank you for the attendees that I've got so far, and welcome to this complimentary webinar. I am Coach Joanne. It's great to have you here. We are going to banish your imposter syndrome today. We are going to be all over it. One of the big things that came out from the research that I did in interviewing bunches of women who work in science, technology, engineering, and math is that they struggle with confidence and have issues with doubting themselves and not getting the respect that they deserve at work. So today we are really going to hit that. Some of the things that I heard from the women that I talked to when I did the interviews was that they said things like, I did everything that I was told. I got the mentor, I applied to the job that they told me that I should apply to. I practiced up, I did the interview, and I still didn't get the promotion. So if you can relate to any of that, we are going to hit that hard today. And I want you to come out of here in the next half hour to an hour and really have some tools that you can walk away with and start to use today to start to really start to feel the confidence in your body, in your bones. Okay, so to get us started, and bear with me, I'm using a new technology here today, so it's pretty cool. Got a couple people on the call here, and I'm going to just try to test something out. I'm going to send you a poll here. All right, what's the main thing you'd like to get from this webinar today? And you can just enter whatever it is you'd like to put in there, and we'll see what you come up with. All right, let's see. All right, maybe you guys aren't in a place where you can do the poll. Not sure. I'll have to find out. If you want to go into, if you can do the chat and the questions, let me see what you're seeing and whether that's an issue. But let's move on and we'll look at what we're going to cover today. Okay. Okay. So we're going to talk about what women like you had to say about confidence, about imposter syndrome, about all those things, what they've experienced, and the advice that they give. And then you're also going to get advice from me, which are my top 5 hacks that I have proven over time, things that actually will work to help you with the issues that you might be having in this area. All right. So how did I get here? So in my personal experience, I've had a lot of experience working in environments that were significantly male dominated. I started out in college as a physics major, so all of my classes in physics, I was, the only female, primarily the only female in even the calculus classes that I took. And then after school, I was a nuclear engineer for a little bit, and that was completely male dominated. That was like craziness. I mean, I was really literally the only female on the floor except for the admin staff. I mean, it was just ridiculous. I've had experience. I've been where you are, and in the past couple of years, I've really gotten to the place where I want to help women really thrive, and I want more of us women in powerful leadership positions. We need to have more of us in those positions so that we can change the world. Okay, so the first thing I did to do some of that was to do some research. Of course, that's a scientist in me. What's the first thing you do? You ask some questions, right? So I did 100 phone interviews with women at all levels. In fact, I see one of them is here with us today. Hey, good to see you, Smita. How you doing? And I asked them 45 sometimes intimate questions, and we're going to look at some of those questions that are all about confidence today. The theme that emerged, as I said, is that we struggle with confidence, right? So we know this, we've seen lots of articles about this, but now we really need to change it. I mean, we've just got to do something about it and get something done, all right? So one of the questions that I asked, one of the first questions that I asked was this one, which is, what's your biggest challenge? And these are 4 categories that I came up with from things that I saw in my experience of working with women and that I experienced myself is, do you feel confident? Do you get the respect that you think you deserve? Are you taking risks? Are you playing it safe? And are you being heard? Are you being heard in meetings? Are you having trouble being heard? This question. So when I talked to women and interviewed, I said, what is your biggest challenge out of these 4? So we're gonna do this poll with us here today. Okay. And let me get back to some of the results of the poll that I just did. Annalisa said the main thing she wants to get from today is just to be able to feel comfortable in my own skin. Yay, Annalisa, that's exactly what we're going to do here today. To own that I'm not less than they are. Absolutely. Kelly wants a few techniques to strengthen her confidence in a tough crowd. And Jill wants some action steps to begin to stop doubting myself. So you will definitely get all of that today. So let me just scroll up here and send another poll out to you guys. So thanks for participating in these. These are fun. So what is your biggest challenge? Is your biggest challenge to feel confident, to get respect, to take risks, or to be heard? I know these are kind of intertwined, so I appreciate that. But let's see what we come up with here. Let's see, we've got take risks, getting heard. Okay. All right, awesome, good to know. Well, let's see what the women in the survey had to say, how this all came out. I interviewed 100 women, and 41 of them said to feel confident. 31 said to be heard, and then 18 take risks, and 10 to be respected. So looking at that is one of the reasons why I put together this webinar today. All right, let's move on. Another question that I asked was, has anything held you back? 39 of the 100 said, no, nothing has held me back. I've just always gone for things. Things are great. The others, the biggest one that came out was confidence. Again, showing up here again in this question. Other places that confidence came out was in the questions that I asked, which were yes and no questions, like I feel alone, yes or no, 46%, so they did feel alone. I feel like I have to do everything at work and at home, got 57%. But the big winner here you can see is 71% said, I question myself and I'm not as confident as I would like to be. So here we are. It's all coming out in the stats, right? So here's some of the comments that the women themselves had made about specifically confidence. And I don't know if you can read these. I'll read some of them off to you. I question my own knowledge. I need more data to prove myself. I'm not qualified. Thoughts like these come into my head. These are almost always there. I have declined a lot of things. I fear that I won't do well, either because of family responsibilities, true or perceived, fear of being criticized, fear of a failure. I look at the responsibility or the pay and I don't think I deserve it. There's no way I could get this role, the position, the title, the salary. I felt fear. I've hesitated and questioned whether I felt qualified. I'm sure that a lot of these are ringing true for all of you as I'm reading them. Here's a few more. I've always second-guessed myself. I want to do things right, and I worry that I'm not. I worry that what I'm saying is a dumb thing to say. I question my gut. I question my instinct. Oh my gosh, how often do we do this? I think it's the result of many years of not being supported. I'd like to know that someone senior has my back. So true. Even when you've got a mentor, you can still feel in your own team, in your own group, that you don't have that support. Imposter syndrome is a huge thing. I'm not supposed to have this life I have. Oh, they're going to figure out that they made the wrong choice. So this comment really gets to the root of what's going on here. When we feel that way, even when we've gotten the promotions, we can get into those spots and we can be like, oh my God, how did I get here? I'm going to mess this up. They made a mistake. It goes into what is one of the most popular limiting beliefs that we have, and that is that we are not good enough. The feeling or the idea that somehow we are not good enough is very, very pervasive pervasive in our society too now, because there's so much social media that is showing us every day that we're not good enough. As we look at our friends' posts who are, hiking up Machu Picchu or just got their 6th promotion or whatever it might be, we're constantly comparing ourselves. So this, the feeling of not being good enough, the underlying belief really needs to be attacked. So what are we taking away from all this? Of course, confidence is a real issue. Imposter syndrome is a real thing that we've got in our head. And it's the biggest thing that's held women back. So again, none of this is any surprise, right? But what do we take away from this? Women have to work harder to get respect, obviously, right? So in fact, 99% of the women I surveyed experienced a gender bias pattern called Prove It Again. There's a great book written by a woman named Joan Williams called What Women Need at Work, or What Works for Women at Work, I'm sorry. And she outlines more about these 4 patterns of gender bias. One, which I think is the most insidious really, is this Prove It Again, which is when our skills and experience are doubted. We're asked more questions than our male peers are asked. We might be in a meeting and they'll question the results, they'll question our statistics, they'll make us repeat ourselves, they'll ask other men in the room whether they agree with what we've said, all these kinds of things. And we've got to do more and more to prove our point. So given all this, it is no surprise at all that we have imposter syndrome or we lack confidence. I don't think we really lack confidence. I think in many cases we're in an environment that we're constantly being challenged, and that can wear on us over time and really gets underneath our skin and gets into our subconscious. And we have these feelings of really not being good enough. So while all this is sort of comforting, because now we know, well, I'm not alone, at least, a lot of people are going through this, a lot of women feel this. It's all really, really, though, it's deeply disturbing. It's deeply disturbing because we've got to get over this, and we've got to flip this reality and really build our confidence. Okay? So how do we do that? Here's some advice, again, from the women surveyed. And these are some of the more profound. For some reason, this doesn't look like it. No, it looks okay. It's just showing up a little weird here on the screen. I'll agree. But some of this is the advice that I thought was the most profound of the advice that I heard from the 100 women. The bottom line being, you really, really have to believe in yourself. And the question is, well, how do we get there, right? So we're going to talk about some of that in a little bit. They said, find people who support you and boost your confidence. Even if you don't think you have it, say, I've got this. Focus on your strengths. Don't be afraid of asking questions. Expect that you're going to be talked over. Expect that you're going to be asked to prove it again. Expect that you might have more questions asked of yourself, right? Of you. Make your point, come back to it. You might be treated badly, but you need to persist. Okay, so that's a few things from women just like you. Now let's get into the top 5 that I've come up with. And these top 5 are things that I found that, first of all, I want you to know they work. They really work. But like exercise, like meditation, you have to actually do them. You have to actually practice these 5 things. You don't even need to practice all 5. Just pick a couple that you like and go with those. But you have to actually do them. And if you do them and practice them, you will get into a feeling of embodiment of confidence, embodiment of self-assurance, and all that will come to you over time. Okay, so I ask you as we go through these, pick a couple that you really want to practice. All right. First is, don't ever criticize yourself. And this comes from Louise Hay. And I don't know if you're familiar with Louise Hay, but she started Hay House Publishing, and she didn't even start Hay House Publishing until she was 60. She launched a publishing company that's been incredibly successful, and she had authors like Cheryl Richardson and Wayne Dyer, and a lot of the self-help authors out there have gotten books published through Louise Hay. But she makes a great point here. So you might think this is really radical advice to never, ever criticize yourself. But as Louise says, I would ask you to try approving of yourself and see what happens. Because if you think it's radical to never, ever criticize yourself, think about what you're probably doing all the time, which is the exact opposite, criticizing yourself all the time. It's like your go-to thought that you have in your head is, how did I mess this up? Or, what's going on with this? Or how could I ever get any better at this? So consider this radical idea of not ever, ever criticizing yourself. Switch it around and be compassionate with yourself. Talk to yourself as if you would talk to someone that you love. Would you talk to someone that you love the way that you talk to yourself in your head? And you have to ask, so if you're not, then are you really being loving to yourself? Do you love yourself? All right, that's hack number 1. As I said, you have to practice these. It might sound simple, but you have to do it. All right. Hack 2, design your world for who you want to become. All right, this comes from Thomas Leonard, who's the guy who actually started coaching in the United States, which most people aren't really familiar with, who aren't in the coaching industry, coaching field. But he always said the environment always wins. And if you think about it, working in a male-dominated field, working in the industries that we do, we need all the help that we can get because the environment that we're in is probably not all that supportive. And we want to look at supporting who it is that we are becoming, who we want to become, as opposed to who we are right now. If you look around your physical environment right now, it is probably a reflection of who you used to be. We acquire things through our lives, we take pictures, we buy things, we decorate, and our environment may not be keeping up with who it is we are now, and it certainly, probably most likely, is not reflecting who it is you are looking to become. So I've got a whole coaching process around having a supportive environment, but the 2 key parts to think about, that I'd like you to think about, is look at the people in your life. Are the people in your life the people that you need to surround yourself with to be who you want to become? For instance, if you want to go into something working with people in the environment and really helping to save the environment, globally or even locally, are you hanging around with people who do that on a daily basis? Do you have those kinds of people in your life? And the second area to look at is your physical environment. Can you somehow make your physical environment reflect who it is you'd like to become? So, are there, can you start a compost pile or something like that, environmentally, like, start working on a small scale in your own home, because there's something about starting to do really small actions like that say, this is really who I want to be, moving yourself towards that the universe comes in and responds and helps you out with that on the other side. Or if you want to write a book or be an author, then are you surrounding yourself with writers? I mean, it sounds really simple, but in many cases we don't do it. We stay trapped in who it is we used to be because it's more comfortable for those around us. They don't want us to step out of our box. That's who they've known us to be, right? That's more comfortable for them. And then it's also more comfortable for us. If you're going to step out and do something new, expect to not be comfortable. Comfort is not all it's cracked up to be. Comfort is like actually downright boring. So look around your environment, look around the people that you might need to add or subtract from your life, and look around your physical environment for little things that you might need to do in order to move yourself that much closer to who you want to become. Third one, I would like you to, and I ask you to, embrace your unique brilliance. Now, if you've cringed when I said your unique brilliance and thought to yourself, oh, I'm not brilliant, and then we're back at hack 1, which is don't criticize yourself ever, right? But also, I mean, I want you to think about that. What do you mean you're not brilliant? Everyone has some unique brilliance, something that they're really, really great at. And I want you to think about that. I want you to come up with at least 10 ways that you are brilliant. Things that you do, skills that you have, things that you can do that other people might not find as easy, but you find it really easy, really easy. So one of the ways to help you come up with this list of 10 things is to ask those around you, because sometimes it's hard for us to see our own brilliance because we look at it and we say, oh, can't anyone do that? Obviously, it's so easy, you know. I can organize a whole kitchen. I can cook a great meal, whatever it might be. That might be your brilliance. You don't look at it as brilliance. You look at it as just, can't everybody do this? No, they can't. So ask your friends, family, coworkers, think about it yourself, but your goal is to come up with your list of 10 things that make you uniquely brilliant. Number 4, this is linked to number 3. I want you to create a brag book. Now this is looking at the things that you are brilliant at doing, the things that make you uniquely who you are. In your brag book, I want you to list how you've done that. How have you been brilliant? What have you done? I mean, have you attained degrees? Have you gotten promotions? Have you written things? Have you helped out friends in need, responded to crises? Whatever it is that you've done that make you really awesome, create a list of that. Actually writing it down imprints it more dramatically into your subconscious brain, and you need that. It's like when you're trying to learn something in school, you know, they made you maybe do your, write your times tables out a million times. You know, it really truly does imprint it on your brain. So it's important to write it down. It's don't look at the brag book today, think to yourself, oh, here's 3 things, and go, and say, oh, I'm done. No, the whole thing about the brag book is in the writing it down. So please take the time to actually write down in the brag book what it is that you've accomplished. You can also just create a list and keep it stuck to your laptop, or you're on your desktop, or somewhere that you can see it to remind yourself of who you are. This is really important. You need to remind yourself of who you are, what makes you brilliant, and what you've done that's great. Okay? We will be knocked down. Some of us are knocked down daily. Some of us are in roles where we are, have more experience more criticism on a daily basis. This is one of those supportive elements that you really need to have. So as with numbers 1, 2, and 3, you need to actually do this. Okay. And what's our last hack? Last hack is practice. Practice, practice, practice. So if you think of something that you're really confident in already. So something like maybe riding a bicycle. Oh, okay. I can confidently ride a bicycle, right? Well, remember that you didn't start out that way. What did it take for you to get confident at riding a bicycle? How did you get that way? First, you had to summon the courage to even learn to ride the bike, even to get on the bike, to get the bike out of the garage and to actually try it, right? You had to summon up your courage. You had to not expect that you were going to be perfect the first time, right? You thought, well, no, this is probably not going to go well the first time. And then you had to be able to learn from your mistakes, right? So I think we really undervalue or don't really expect ourselves to have to need to practice. Somehow we're supposed to now come out of the womb and have 15 years of experience and this and that. But if you want to be a great leader, or you want to be heard more in meetings, or you want to do any of these things, you're going to have to be willing to practice. you're going to have to be willing to even ask for some feedback from people to see how well you're doing as well. So those are my top 5 hacks. We covered what women like you had to say about confidence. We got advice from those women, and we've got some specific things that that I came up with. And I hope that those have helped you today. If you've got any questions, you can certainly put them into the chat box right now, and we can start looking at those in a little bit. And I have a couple things that I want to talk to you about to help you on your journey of getting to confidence. So if you'd like a one-time strategy session with me over the phone, 45 minutes, I'm discounting that for you today instead of $175, which is my normal price. My webinar price is $75. That's $100 off. And we can look at any specific situations you have and strategize key action steps that you want to take away. Okay, and I can also allow you to sign up for that right now, which is really kind of a cool thing. So we'll schedule that at your convenience. It will be 45 minutes. It could probably even go to an hour, and we will make sure that we cover what it is you need to do in order to help bolster your confidence, embolden you, and get you taking action immediately, okay? The next thing I have for you is group coaching that I want to start after Labor Day. And this is going to be a small beta group. So we're only going to be looking at maybe 3 participants. You're going to get a lot of time. You're each going to get coached every time that we have a call. We're going to do calls. It'll be 4 calls just for 3 months, I think. I don't think I have it on here. 3 months. 60-minute phone sessions. And we will tape all the sessions in case you miss something, but if you do miss a call, you're going to miss your coaching time. And this group coaching is like the most fabulous way to go. I mean, I just love it because everyone, hold on, I'm sending out your thing to you, learns from each other, and you get support and ideas. It's going to be awesome. Just 3 people. And actually, this is just the 1 month. We're going to start with the 1 month. If we want to continue it, we can. This is going to be a reduced price. As I said, the beta $197, and the next time I offer it, the price will be higher. So if you want to do this, jump in on it now, and you can do that. Okay. And the last thing, if you want to have like a really one-on-one, this is for you kind of thing. You don't want to be the group. You don't want to be one time. You want to be more ongoing 3-month. I really want to make some progress package. My regular price for coaching is $625 a month. I'm going to drop it down to $575 for you. 3 75-minute max phone calls scheduled at your convenience, and we can really cover a lot of ground in 3 months and get some things happening for you. Okay, and let me just put that last one up there for you. Alrighty, so I think you've got them all now. All right, cool. And then finally, if you're not ready to even do any of that and you just want to talk to me and chat and get a taste of coaching, we'll do a little bit to help you uncover your brilliance, and in a quick laser coaching session. And you can book that with me by going to my website, joannevitale.com, and clicking on some time there. All right, sounds good. So do we have any questions from you all, or are we all good to go? Let me see. I think I've lost the chat here. Not sure where it went. All right, let me see here. Here we go. Chat, chat, chat. Questions. All right, looks like we don't have any questions, so I'm just going to wrap it up. As I said, if you need to get in touch with me, you can certainly email me. Go to my website, set up a session, whatever you'd like to do. It's been great. Good to be here with you all. Thanks for coming.